Welcome to Lovin, the Loveboat, a fond and funny look back on the world's greatest cruise ship-based television show. I'm Ishvan, singer, songwriter, and TV fanatic.
And I'm Michelle, pop culture enthusiast.
Join us as we relive episodes of one of the most watched TV series of all time.
Occasionally deviating to pop culture charts unknown.
So come aboard, we're expecting you for another edition of
Lovin' the Loveboat.
Yo.
Yo.
What up?
Not much. How about you?
I'm in a good mood, Michelle, because I really liked this episode.
Me too. It was a fun one. The themed ones are always a hit.
It was fantastic. I'm also in a good mood because we have special guest commentary from our friend, someone we've been asking for a long time to be on the show, our friend and former co-host of the Blurry Photos podcast, Mr. Dave Stecco. Dave was kind enough to send us some comments, and we are going to pepper those in throughout the show. So today, Michelle, you had already told me this. I didn't know until I watched this late last night, that this has a single title, and that title is Ship of Ghouls. Ship of Ghouls is written by one Mr. Mickey Rose.
Bravo, Mickey Rose.
But also in this episode, they had all kinds of other information, and it said like executive script consultants, Ben Jolson and Art Bear, and there was also story editors of Ray Jessel and Barry Blitzer.
They really took some time with this one.
Yeah, I don't know what any of those jobs really mean, but those people have also written stories. I mean, those are familiar names.
Well, I would assume because it's one storyline technically, usually it's split into three with three different writers. Mm-hmm. Maybe it's just to lighten the load on one person.
Very good. These people were all responsible for this. I salute them all, as do you, because we love this episode. It was awesome. All right, let's get into the cast. I had a difficult time finding their ship names. I couldn't find a lot of them. Maybe you did. You want to start?
Yes, I will. First, we have a return appearance by Mr. Gary Collins.
Yes.
Mr. Diller.
Yeah, did you get his first name? I did not.
No, they just gave Mr. Diller.
Okay.
And then his real-life wife, Ann Mobley, also played his wife on this episode as Mrs. Diller.
I'm sure you've mentioned that in the past, and I completely forgot. I'm having my mind blown right now. I didn't realize they were married.
And then I have next the great and wonderful Mr. Vincent Price as the great Alonzo.
You talking Wendell Mordum?
Spoiler alert.
Guys, if you are like us, we love Vincent Price.
Sure do.
I think we are certainly not alone in this. But yeah, Vincent Price, back when we were kids, I mean, we have referenced the Brady Bunch a ton of times, and the Hawaii episode looms large in our minds.
All his horror films.
Yeah. No, he's just, I mean, you can't go wrong with Vincent Price, so.
And I have his cookbook. It's very magnificent.
Now, who's his romantic partner on this ship, Michelle?
It would be Joan Blondell as Miss Ramona Bevins. I best know her from, she's been in a lot of things, but I best recognized her from Grease. Oh,
was she really?
Yeah, she was the waitress. She talked to Frenchie before she did her whole big beauty school dropout number.
Cool.
But yes, that's how I remembered her. But like I said, she's been in tons of things throughout her career.
And then you have three older ladies that are like...
They're just called Alonzo groupies.
Is that what they're called?
Yeah. There's Iris Adrian, June Kean, and BiBi Osterwald. I can't speak. And then you also have Charlie Aiken, who played Bobby Diller. The thing they didn't have is the name of the person, the little girl who was his friend on the ship. And then the woman that played her mother was Maureen Reagan, who's Ronald Reagan's daughter.
Oh, wow.
Oh, I skipped one of the main people of this. I missed Barbara Anderson, who played Karen Williamson.
Oh, my gosh, yeah.
I almost forgot her.
That would be a major oversight.
Yeah, it would have.
Okay, well, this is, you guys, a Halloween cruise. It is a very special Halloween cruise. Halloween is our favorite holiday.
It really is.
And this one is just kind of crazy and wild. So the crew is just kind of talking about that up front. It's Doc and Gopher, and I think it was Isaac. And then, of course, people are filtering onto the ship, and we are greeted with the family, with little precocious Bobby, a massive liar.
Well, it sure looks like Halloween to me.
Ah, but if you were really in the spirit, Doctor, you would have supplied us with a genuine skeleton. Right, now I'm sure you could dig one up somewhere.
I'm sorry, but there are no skeletons in my closet. I was once married to an old bat, though. Good joke, Bella.
Hey, someone's gonna jump overboard.
What?
Come on. There she is.
Miss, wait a minute. No.
It's okay. We got you now.
Let's just talk this over calmly and rationally.
Talk what over? My daughter was taking my picture.
We thought you were jumping overboard.
At these prices?
Just a moment, young man. I'd like to speak to your parents.
Bobby,
Hey.
what's going on?
Your son has pretty active imagination.
Bobby, have you been telling lies again?
Whoppers.
Well, it looked like she was gonna jump overboard. Sort of. But your dad doesn't think so. Yeah, well, he's under a lot of pressure. It's not easy being a spy.
I'm really sorry. It's just a phase he's going through.
I'm not a child psychologist, but when a kid lies, there's usually a reason.
Yeah, I guess there is. Well, thank you very much. Come on, Bobby.
Thank you.
So, as we can see, this kid is already troubled.
And then Doc really isn't very subtle, right?
No, not at all. I mean, he was really to the point on this kid.
And I think our guest Dave can concur.
Now, I'm no pediatric psychologist, but I do know how to diagnose a case of lousy parents when I see one.
But he senses that there is something wrong with this kid.
And he's correct. It's just like, you're throwing out that kind of accusation. You might want to back it up with a little therapy or something like that.
I thought it was a little bold of him right out of the box on this episode because he doesn't really say stuff like that.
Well, maybe there's a reason they wrote that in, because it leads us right to the woman you almost overlooked.
Oh, I know.
Who is Julie's friend. So she is a former model. So Karen comes on and Julie's excited, but there is definitely a little gloom hanging over this poor woman's head.
Hey, you guys, I'm sorry that I'm late. This is my friend Karen Williamson. She's going to be sharing my cabin this trip.
Hello.
Hi.
Karen, this is Adam Bricker, our ship's physician, and this is Gopher Smith.
Our ship's condition.
I better get to work, okay?
Work? Gee, I thought you were just another fun-loving passenger.
Oh, excuse me, Freddie. Would you please show Miss Williamson to my cabin? Thank you. I'll see you later. Bye.
What a knockout. She could be a model.
She was until about a year ago. Then she was in this car accident, and...
She's perfect for me.
Perfect for you. I got dibs on her.
Wait a minute.
Guys, you're going to have to go easy, okay? She's had some really bad breaks, and on top of it all, her boyfriend walked out on her.
So then we get the super enthusiastic Captain Stubing.
I like when the captain's excited.
I do too. I love when he gets so into something that he's like, it's almost innocent
It's the
and
best.
childlike, but he's like super into the great Alonzo coming onto the ship that he booked.
And he's talking, to the three ladies.
Right.
But they also are phonies, because they are like saying, is he still around? And kind of dissing the guy, as the captain is enthusiastically saying that he's going to be entertaining on the ship. But that changes really, really quickly.
Aside from our Halloween costume ball, I have hired the world's greatest illusionist, the amazing Alonzo.
Who?
The amazing Alonzo. He's an illusionist. He uses a form of mass hypnosis. He can make people see things that aren't there. He's incredible.
Oh, I remember him from TV years ago. Is he still around?
Yes, we've got him.
I guess you couldn't get Pinky Lee.
I am a giant fan of Vincent Price in all of his many iterations, but the conviction with which he says, "Do you observe?" to the bitty 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 committee is priceless. That's like some Jim Jones stuff, and I absolutely love it. And that's why you get Vincent Price for this. It's glorious.
I'm sorry, sir. I just introduced them to a friend of mine, and now they're behaving like two jackasses.
Well, if they're behaving like jackasses, perhaps they should be jackasses. You observe? You observe? I'm going to have you put below decks in chains, and you'll never see any of these lovely ladies again. Jackasses.
Do you
Wait.
observe?
Did you notice what Dave noticed? The conviction with which Vincent Price delivered that first illusion?
I did. There's no, it's Vincent Price.
Yeah, he always delivers, man.
He really does.
He is the greatest. And it's like, but in that, it's like so goofy. There are some really goofy sight gags on this one because he turns Gopher and Doc into two donkeys on the ship.
Like, okay.
Yes.
Is it hypnosis? Like, what is his thing? Like, what is it that he's doing?
I think he has actual real mystical powers. I think he has real serious, like, he got some sort of dark arts book and he really took it to heart.
Well, it's Vincent Price. Like I
Right.
said, he's been in a lot of horror films. He's probably drank a lot of potions.
Yeah, but he's using it for good and entertainment and not for evil. So, maybe let's just assume he has real, actual magical powers.
Okay.
Shortly after this, we get into something that I don't know about you, Michelle, but I absolutely loved the Julie's friend, like the acting, the scenario, the plot line, the entire thing I loved.
She was so traumatized and it was so serious. And I was like, oh God, what is it going to be? Like, what happened? And then they talk about her being in the car accident. Then I was like, maybe she lost her son or maybe she lost her husband, something tragic.
But what happened to her?
Well, she injured her face. And then she reveals a scar.
Hey, where were you? You missed the confetti throwing. I felt like staying here. We didn't come on this cruise to sit in a cabin. Let's go grab our bathing suits and go up on deck.
Oh, Julie. How can I go anywhere looking like this?
Karen, you look fine.
Tell that to the photographers. They haven't exactly been calling lately. I guess I expected a miracle from plastic surgery. But they did all they could. Paul was expecting one too.
Paul, yeah. Well, he's a real lightweight. He's not worth your little finger.
I had a life. And suddenly that life has disappeared.
Then you just make a different life. Now, come on. It's Lido deck time.
Oh, Julie, couldn't we just...
No, we can't. I'm sorry, but I'm the cruise director. Now move it. It's okay.
But it wasn't even terrible.
No, it's a perfect, curved scar on her face. And that's why I like it so much because it's so dramatic, but it's not terrible. And it's something that I can completely just enjoy,
I think Dave agrees with us.
Yeah, I think Dave summed it up really, really well.
Now, this right here is how I know how much of an effect things like Netflix has had on me, because I expected her hair, one ear, and part of her face to come away with the hat scarf combo. I thought it was all a prosthetic and there was going to be some real Freddy Krueger under there. And then I was like, no, man, it was 78. They didn't need to go that hard in the paint back then.
But to Dave's point, yes, I was expecting when she took that scarf off, like her ear was going to be missing or something really bad. That scar was hardly noticeable, but I guess maybe that's the point. She was making a bigger deal of it than it should be because she was a model, and then maybe obviously you're not going to model.
That is the case, and that's what's so enjoyable about this, that this person's injury is not that horrible.
Right, and maybe like what Dave was saying, in the 70s, it's 70s drama and 70s horror.
They didn't have to go so hard.
No, they didn't. We've all been totally desensitized.
I know, it's horrible. This is a kind of cool episode, though, too, because the lighthearted stuff also has a little sort of heaviness to it. But it's still lighthearted and fun, the illusionist.
Yes.
And now you've got these ladies who were sort of bad-mouthing the great Alonzo initially. Now they're all in. And they are just swarming him the entire time. At
the cost of his girlfriend, Ramona, who's been with him for quite some time.
Yes.
And this was, again, supposed to be a little bit of a getaway for them. And then he kind of But does he call her his partner?
Yeah.
Like he went from like girlfriend, love of his life to his partner.
Right, because these ladies are giving him all this attention now. Mm-hmm. But you can also understand it because
You do that to me in public.
his career was kind of in a slump, and now he was getting all this renewed attention, and so that is part of the reason why you're on there. Again, why I like the Loveboat, because a lot of these sort of like crazy scenarios are plausible. Like there are plausible things to this, and they do deal with things that are believable, and so she's feeling slighted and ignored and upset.
I can't understand why you've never made a movie.
Well, the studios keep begging me to, but nobody's come up with the right script yet.
Oh.
Well, you know, with my special talent, I have to be very particular.
You should be. When you do make a movie, I'll definitely go to see it.
Well, you don't have to. You have me right here, in person.
You were going to meet me in the bar.
Oh, you remember my associate, Ramona?
Oh, yes, hello. I'd like to speak to you for a moment.
Oh, certainly. Certainly. I'll see you on the Lido deck.
Don't be long. Before, I was the love of your life. Now I'm your associate. I am your fiancé.
Oh, but of course, my love. But when the fans think of me as unattached, it helps the fantasy.
Theirs or yours?
So, like, it's the afternoon. Next day, they're on the ship, and the kid is continuing to lie. He drags Isaac into some kind of a lie.
Yeah, it tells her like someone's being strangled, but they were really like making out.
Right. And then the great why do I keep calling him
Alfonso.
Alonzo? The great Alonzo comes. They're all talking, and did you notice? I found it funny how every time he called Gopher a different name.
Oh, I loved it. Gomer, he called him Gomer, but he said it so seriously.
Loafer.
Yeah, everything. Goober, whatever. And he was
Goofer
just...
and Grover. I was like, that's old school, subtle.
You know, I didn't grab any clips because the audio was kind of like mush mouth during
Yeah, it
those,
was.
but it was making me laugh the entire
too.
time. I loved it. Because Vincent Price did it so great.
During this time when he's talking to Gopher and everything, he's still neglecting Ramona, but he promises her that night that they will have dinner together.
Yeah.
A romantic dinner. And of course, that doesn't happen.
Smile, my darling. This is a pleasure cruise.
Oh, some pleasure. I haven't seen you all day.
But you ought to be happy. We're going to be successful again.
I know about the successful days. You were too busy to get married. And then the bad times. You were too poor to get married. Just when is the right time?
Ramona, please. Look, darling, tonight is for you. Only you. No illusions. We'll have your favorite wine and a leisurely dinner, and then we'll dance the night away.
You promise?
I promise.
Good evening, ma'am.
So he's called over to the table, and of course the groupie ladies are there. And they beg him to do an illusion.
Excuse me, Mr. Alonzo? Mr. Alonzo, my name is Harvey Greenswine.
How nice for you.
Mr. Alonzo, you gotta come over to my table and do something for my friends.
Sorry, but not tonight.
I promised them.
Oh, he promised them.
You wouldn't want anyone to break a promise, would you?
Oh, I knew you'd understand. Gooper, show Madame to our table.
Here he is. Here he is. I got him. The amazing Alonzo.
Alonzo, oh, how do you do?
Oh, so nice to see you.
Thank you.
Wine? Well, why are you drinking wine when there's beer available? Isaac, do you have the time?
Sure.
Quite a head on that beer, See the head? See the head?
I mean, come on, Loveboat. There's no way that they weren't aware of Vincent Price commanding everyone to see the head and then cutting directly to the most intense close-up of Isaac's crotch available. Oh, I thought you were better than this, Loveboat.
So something Dave and I both picked up on in this scene, which you were oblivious to, is when he was talking about the head on the beer, they show Isaac pulling his stopwatch out of his pocket, but it's like a close-up on his crotch. And I was like, was that intentional? Or is it innocent? Because once again, we could say it's the 70s, but like, why? It was like a close up.
I don't know.
Like, you could pull the watch out and hold it up. The only thing I can think of is they didn't want his actual head to be shown.
I think it says more about you and Dave than it does about the...
That we're still stuck in our 11-year-old brains in 1978.
Yeah, than it does about this episode. I was more taken aback by the weird effects of Isaac's head on the beer.
On the beer head.
It was so strange.
It was such a weird illusion.
It really was. It was bizarre.
It's a stretch. I'm sorry.
And all I know, I think the thing that happened was a lot happens in this part of the show. And the thing I enjoyed the most was the captain swooping in on Ramona.
Well, he saw it because he's the greatest guy around, that she was jilted.
And so he goes and gets her. And then, I don't know what happened. Did he invite her back? No.
He invited her to his table to dine with them.
Okay.
Miss Bevins, excuse me. I was wondering if you might be available to have dinner with me at my table.
Available? Captain, if there's one word that describes me, available is it.
Right this way.
Ramona's not the other one having troubles on this ship.
There's a little liar running all over the place.
Right. Bobby, and we do find out that his parents split up briefly.
Boy, look out for this sun. You know how easy you burn.
I will.
Listen, I'll put some of that lotion on just in case.
Don't.
What?
Don't try so hard.
I'm sorry. It wasn't easy splitting up, and it's not going to be easy getting back together again. I know that.
We'll be okay.
So Bobby is all mixed up. This kid's all scrambled. His emotions have been rattled.
Mm-hmm.
And it's all manifesting itself in these lies, these stories, these fibs that he's telling everyone.
Well, he definitely needs therapy.
But in the meantime, Gary Collins, I thought, had like a kind of a nice, like heart-to-heart with him, didn't you?
I thought so. I thought it was really good.
I thought it was really a really well-written scene, a really good scene, I thought, except for when he says anal at the very, you know what I mean? Where he couldn't say analogy.
Yeah.
They had to make kids seem stupid and they couldn't grasp analogy.
Yeah, of course a kid could say that word at his age.
Right.
I thought the same thing. I'm like, the kid is not stupid.
But they really did have kind of a nice dad-son moment.
Son, I wish there were a way that I could just talk to you and use a couple of father knows best phrases, just straighten everything out. But it just doesn't work out that way. To tell you the truth, I'm not so sure father does know best always. But I'll tell you one thing I'm sure of. Your mother and I love each other very much. And as much as we love each other, we love you more. Come on, Bobby, you don't believe me?
No! You're gonna leave us again, aren't you? That's what you said last time. I love you, and then goodbye. And then you left, and you were gone for a whole year.
No, hey, I'm not going anywhere. I'm not leaving. Listen, that year that I was away from you two was the worst time of my life.
Then why did you go?
It's hard to explain. Listen, your mother and I... Well, there were things that we just didn't know how to say to each other. And because we didn't know how to say them, we made up stories. Or we just didn't say them. Now, it's taken me a year to learn to be honest. Son, you've got to be honest with people. You can't be phony, otherwise your whole life is phony.
Was that one of those analogies?
Analogies? Yeah. I guess it was, yeah. Hey, it's pretty good.
Dad, I'm gonna try as hard as I can never to lie anymore.
Okay. That means we both got something hard to work at. Come on.
Dad, did you ever think about being a spy?
Now, am I just imagining this? Have I been illusioned by
by the great Alonzo.
Alonzo, because were there a lot of close-ups in this episode?
Yes. I have several that I took
'Cause it
photos
was,
of.
even when Gary Collins was talking to his son.
With his dreamy, steely eyes.
It was such a harsh close-up of the two of them. Not necessary.
I liked it. I kind of liked it because it really stuck out. And it was like those two, sort of like man-to-man talk or something like that. That I liked, but it was a little...
Even like Julie and her friend, too, because they're having a lot of heart-to-hearts, too, because Doc and Gopher are fighting over her.
Yeah, I love this episode.
I do, too. So they're fighting over her, which is comical throughout the whole thing.
Thank you both. It's been a wonderful evening.
For me, too.
Yeah, most of it.
Julie, maybe sleep.
How about breakfast tomorrow?
I've already asked her.
How about lunch?
I've already asked her.
I've
already asked her.
How could you have asked her if you don't even know what I was going to ask her?
Because anything you would think of, I would have already thought of before. You see, I'm always way ahead of you.
Oh, you excuse us a moment. Can I see you over here? You know something, Doc? You're starting to get on my nerves.
Well, I'm way ahead of you again, because you've been getting on my nerves for the past 3 hours.
Oh, all right, okay? We're going to let Karen decide who she wants to be with, all right?
Okay, sucker.
Oh, sucker.
Mm-hmm. Care for nightcap?
Who's mine?
Isaac.
Deal.
So we're like in turmoil city at this point, right?
We really are. Everybody's relationships are falling apart.
The cruise is a bit rocky right now. We've hit sort of like choppy seas. Mm-hmm. And Ramona is very upset. She's been blown off for the last time. What does she do, Michelle?
She goes to the captain's quarters in the middle of the night asking for her own room.
She just decides to go straight, not to like the desk to ask if there's another room. You go right and wake the captain up.
Right, because, he doesn't have anything important to do.
Miss Bevins.
Captain, do you mind if I talk to you for a minute?
Oh, of course not. Please, come right in.
I know it's terribly late, and I do apologize, but I was wondering if you had another cabin available.
Another cabin? I'm afraid we don't. But what do you want another cabin for?
Just can't go back to him again. I can't.
Alonzo, this is none of my business, but frankly, I'm surprised you stayed with him this long.
I love him. I know I shouldn't, but I do.
It's ironic. He can make us see what isn't there, and he can't see what is. Come on. You can stay in my cabin, and I'll sleep out here.
Oh, no, I couldn't.
No. I'll be perfectly comfortable.
Oh, thank you. Are you sure?
Now, don't argue with the captain of the ship. I'll make you walk the plank.
Michelle, did you see how the captain backstabbed the amazing Alonzo or whatever?
How?
Because he said, "I can't believe you're still with him." You don't remember that part?
No.
Oh, he totally backstabs him.
Oh, you're right. Now I remember, because she has endured all his ways.
And then he takes the couch, no covers. He's just going to go sleep in his robe. You just get right on the couch and sends her to his weird room that he was just in the bed.
I wonder what that back room looks like.
Oh my God, dude. That's all I ever think about. I want to see it so badly.
Me too. I wonder if we ever do. Probably not. Well, wait, maybe.
Oh,
At
I don't
some point,
know.
the captain has to find real love.
It would be awesome to see in there.
Yeah.
Because it's the same thing. It's like if you watch, when I was a kid, if I watched the Jeffersons, I always wanted to see what was in the back, like in their rooms. Always on shows, I wanted to see the other rooms, and you never did. You never got to see those other parts.
Turns out Vincent Price doesn't even know she's gone.
So maybe when you have those types of powers, your brain really needs to shut down.
He wakes up in the morning and just thinks she got up and made the bed.
In their separate beds that they have on the cruise.
Well, they're not married.
Oh, all right. They're honoring.
Right. Well, they're an older
institution.
couple.
All right.
So
well, that's very nice.
a little more respect.
Yeah, so he thinks that she got up early, made the bed, but in reality, she was in
the captain's quarters.
Yeah. I mean, we love the entire crew, and we have also mentioned, because she has gone through a lot in the last couple of episodes, Julie.
Right.
And she still dusts herself off and finds that inner Julie spunk that only she has, And she brings it double for her friend because she wakes up in the morning. Julie's trying to be all perky and get her like ready to like attack the day and like have breakfast and then hit the beauty parlor. And not surprisingly, Karen is still having a bit of a pity party. And Julie is not going to let that happen.
Hey, sleepyhead. Time to get up. Your breakfast dates will be here soon. Oh, those two are really something. Mm-hmm.
Oh, I had a ball last night.
Well, when you've got it, you've got it.
Julie?
Yeah.
Can I ask you something? Did you put them up to it?
What?
Did you ask Doc and Gopher to pay all that attention to me last night?
No, I'm afraid that idea was entirely their own.
I wish I could believe you.
Well, believe it. Because it's true. I've got to get to work. But how about you meet me at the beauty parlor at about 2 o'clock? I've made appointments for both of us.
What good's a beauty parlor going to do me?
Karen, you've had a really tough time. And now you think everyone's pitying you. But here's some news for you. The only one pitying you is you.
Thanks, friend.
So Alonzo puts on his silky slacks.
Gonna hit the breakfast buffet.
Yeah, which we totally would be doing.
Totally.
And then these ladies, man, they got a lot of energy, these older women, and they are never far away from him. And they just keep hitting him up for like free entertainment, which is really kind of rude.
Mm-hmm.
And he's, you know, midway into another one of his spectacular illusions, and he sees Ramona kind of, wait, they have like a little exchange, right? The captain and her, correct?
Right. It's just them talking, her thanking him, I think, for, last night. But it's like he thinks it's more than just her sleeping separately overnight there.
Yeah. And this turns into something kind of serious.
Right.
Meryl,
Oh, yes, Ramona.
I left my lipstick in your cabin last night, and I wondered if you had a key so I could get it.
Oh, sure. I must have left them on the bridge. I'll call my steward and he'll let you in.
Alonzo, honey, what about my illusion?
Oh, yes, if you would pardon me just a moment.
What's the matter with him? Oh, what did you say? Did you say something wrong? I don't think so. I hope I didn't say something wrong.
Ramona, did I overhear you say that you spent some time last night in the captain's cabin?
I spent all night last night in the captain's cabin. We're through. It's over. Goodbye, Alonzo. How's that for a neat trick?
Now it's time for the highlight of this whole cruise ship.
Oh my God, you guys.
The Halloween masquerade party.
The disco masquerade party. I love everything about it.
Me too. The costumes. I don't even know how these people got them on the cruise ship. Do you see the giant hot dog?
Yes. I tried to take a picture of the giant hot dog. It did not turn out great.
Or the lobster-headed, the lobster, like
I thought it was a crayfish
or whatever. Yeah, lobster crayfish. Like, I was just thinking, like, honey, I'm going to be a giant hot dog on this masquerade party. Really? You're going to bring that giant hot dog on the ship?
Maybe they had it, like, in the room where they keep all the cowboy costumes.
I was going to say, like, the hoedown costumes and hay.
Because they don't mess around on this ship because it was spectacular. The room looked amazing. Disco music is pumping. And is the band in costume, Michelle?
Oh my gosh, they all are wearing these cumbersome giant pumpkin hats.
David, what did you feel?
I'm really loving the extra touch that the band for the Halloween party all have to wear giant pumpkin heads, presumably all night. Just big unventilated plastic pumpkin heads.
It was spectacular.
I mean, the guy was playing a saxophone through his giant pumpkin head.
I have a little aside, though. I just want to tell you that I was a little bit depressed. The only part of the depression is this. Michelle, is our favorite holiday Halloween?
Correct.
Do I dress up for Halloween? Not really. On rare occasions, I dress up. And do you want to know why?
Why?
Because this poor guy has terrible eyesight. And Doc, is the epitome of why I don't wear costumes. Because what's he dressed as?
Werewolf?
Yeah, with glasses, with aviator frame glasses.
It doesn't look terrible. It's no different than Teen Wolf.
It's terrible. In real life, it doesn't work. You can't put your glasses over a big wolf mask. And even if you were Dracula that doesn't have it, then you're Dracula with glasses. And today I was thinking about it. I actually thought of a possible costume.
What?
All right, plausible costume for a guy with glasses, Clark Kent. But Clark Kent, where he's pulling his shirt aside and you can see the S underneath it?
Yes.
So if you took wiring and you had the shirt split apart to where you could see it and sort of the tie is askew, that could be a cool costume with glasses, and I may do that this October.
That would be a good one.
It's not bad, right?
I've seen that with the suit. You wear the suit and then you put the S underneath.
And you can see that coming
Yeah.
out, and that would be it, sort of like half and half sort of a costume.
Or you could go as the Blues Brothers.
What do you mean?
They wear their dark glasses.
That's true. But I need another brother, and I don't know who that would be.
Me.
You'd be Belushi, right?
Of
Yeah, it
course.
could be the Aykroyd. You could be the Belushi. That could work. All right, there's two. Hey, this may be the Spotify question. I may be asking, can you think of any good Halloween costumes for a poor fellow with glasses? But yeah, they are all on the ship. They are partying down. It is an amazing atmosphere. The captain looks spectacular.
It's Captain Hook.
Oh my God, he looks so great.
He does.
Oh, he's on fire on this cruise, man. It is so great.
But speaking of fire,
Yes.
he's waiting for Vincent Price to show up.
Oh, that's right. But Alonzo's depressed
Correct.
because the captain, he thinks, has stolen his lady.
Correct.
Now, the captain, he's not laboring under that impression, and Captain Hook storms off to Alonzo's cabin.
Ramona?
Captain Stubing! Alonzo, open this door.
Well, are you here to gloat?
No. I am here to tell you that everyone is waiting and ready for you.
Yes, well, at the moment I am unable to produce any illusion other than failure. Despite my protestations to the contrary, it seems that I need the sweet, steadying hand of Ramona. But that is not to be, since you have stolen her from me.
Stolen? She's in love with you.
Yes, of course. That's why she's sharing a cabin with you.
Oh, for Pete's sake. That is the only thing we've shared. You're the man she wants. Now, look, I have got a ballroom full of passengers waiting to see something spectacular happen. So you be up there in 10 minutes.
Do I have an alternative?
Yes, 5 minutes.
But he does finally lure him out of the cabin.
With threats.
Yeah, with some threats. Well, it is his job. Yeah, and this is just like super enjoyable. I mean, as far as like the set design and everything like that, this is just like some of my favorite stuff of all time. And it's just like a surreal environment in a way. And everyone's having an awesome time until
Karen shows up.
Not shows up till she just accidentally, your favorite or least favorite thing, the Three's Company scenario.
Oh, yes.
Overhears Doc, Julie, and Gopher flipping a coin.
Mm-hmm.
And she storms out. She storms out a lot on this ship.
But I wasn't quite understanding why she was up. They weren't saying anything mean about her.
She's just misunderstanding
Yeah, I
everything.
guess
and
so.
she's so hypersensitive because
I
of
guess
this
so.
that she's thinking, and you can understand that.
No, I know.
Sometimes you think everyone's talking about you, everybody's looking at you. And that makes sense to me, honestly. That makes sense. And so she runs off to not only get out of the room, but to end it all.
Jump overboard.
And now this is the thing. My mom used to tell me all the time the story of the boy who cried wolf all the time.
Mm.
And this is what happens to this Bobby boy because he is dressed in some weird Robin Hood outfit.
Yeah, like what kid would wear that?
Like, here, Bobby, here are your tights. Throw these on.
No bottoms and your little cloak.
I like when Lucy told him to drop dead.
As a clown.
She's dressed as like a sad clown or something. And she told him to drop dead because he was trying to get everybody to realize that this woman was about to jump overboard and no one believed him.
Nope.
And then finally, he drags Lucy out to the deck, right?
Mm-hmm.
Karen's just about to end it.
Oh, I couldn't think of anything more horrifying.
What?
Jumping into the dark ocean. So Bobby is talking to her, begging her not to jump. Tells one more grand white lie.
No! Lady, please, don't jump! Go away. Why do you want to hurt yourself?
You'd never understand.
I would. When my dad left my mom and went away with that other lady, I felt bad. Real bad. Like you. My mom was crying all the time, and even though I tried to make it up to her, I just couldn't. I felt like you do now. But then they got back together, and everything was okay.
It's not that easy for me.
Wait. That's not the end of my story. My dad left my mom again, and she killed herself. She took a whole bunch of pills, and now she's gone, and I can't tell her how much I loved her. I'll never be able to tell her that again. Why did she have to do that? Why?
It's all right, sweetheart. Don't cry.
Pretty elaborate story for a young kid.
You know what? It was, and at first they had me, and then I was really confused. The thing that was so strange to me is that she finds out that he was not telling the truth, and she was okay with that.
She was a little upset at first when the mom says, I'm the mom. But then, well, because he saved her life.
I guess. It's my only criticism of this entire episode, because I absolutely love this episode of him lying, and that was the thing that saved the day, because that would be a bad lesson for him, that like, hey, my lies saved a woman's life. You know, I'm not going to stop lying.
Well, it was like an emergency lie. Like he had to
emergency lie. Break in case of suicide, right. You can use this lie.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Bobby saves this woman's life with a lie.
And they all go back to the ship to dance the night away.
Yeah, to the funky disco Halloween bash that I wish we were invited to.
I'm thinking I want to have a Halloween party and theme it like that.
Oh, my God. It'd be so incredible. We need to do this.
You could be a hot dog with glasses.
Oh, my God. I forgot. Did you see during the final illusion that our favorite guy walks up very slowly? That is maybe the most amazing appearance of him, because you see his shadow first.
He's got like an open shirt.
I don't know. I just saw his mustache, and he had some sort of like, I don't know what it looked like, the hat on, because
like
he's in
Renaissance?
costume. Yes. It's just spectacular. I cannot believe you didn't see that.
Who is he?
I don't know.
Who does he know that he's on every episode as an extra just about?
But it made me so happy, because it made this episode almost perfect for me. I enjoyed it so much, and then there he was towards the very end. So Alonzo is going to get up, still thinking that, well, he knows that things are not good with
Ramona.
And he pulls off one more amazing illusion.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? It is my privilege to present to you the one and only, the amazing Alonzo.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am often asked, how do you do these illusions? How do you make them happen? Well, my answer is you can make anything happen if you want it badly enough. Sometimes the problem is that we don't know what we want till it's too late. I hope it isn't too late. And so, the illusion of illusions. Tonight you are undergoing the greatest change of your lives, a transmogrification of a most unique nature. You are no longer flesh and blood, bone and sinew. You are ice, granite, marble. A ballroom filled with the greatest statues the world has ever seen.
Congratulations. You've proved a point. You are a star of stars. Everyone fades before you.
Everyone except you. Ramona, I love you.
Those are just words, Alonzo.
Wendell.
Huh?
My real name is Wendell Morden.
The amazing Wendell Morden. If you haven't told me about it all these years, why tell me now?
Well, why not? You'll see it on the marriage license.
How amazing was everybody on that ship to freeze
It
in
was-
like crazy positions?
This may be the best television episode of all time.
Because if you look at every person, they're not just frozen, but
No.
they're frozen with an expression on their
Yes.
face, or
You
know,
guys, I hope you all watched this prior to it or will after this because it is the best of
the
television.
couple with the grapes.
It's so
Isaac overpouring champagne on the
Oh my
captain.
God, it's so
I mean,
good.
It's amazing.
But also the little sort of like aside or like conversation that they have while everybody is frozen is kind of really almost wonderful. You know, committing to one another again, or he is to her.
Correct.
And apologizing is really kind of sweet and kind of cool in that moment, you know? I thought they did an amazing job on this episode.
Well, and I appreciate like he is a classic actor, you know what I mean? And they didn't like what they did with Red Buttons or some of the other ones. They kind of make them weird and odd and creepy.
Yeah.
And like he stayed classic.
But some people, Michelle,
Yes.
some people named Dave may have different hopes and wishes for a situation like this.
I'd like to believe that somewhere in the world there's a version of this episode where the amazing Alonzo is driven mad with jealousy and just makes Captain Stubing's life into a Lovecraftian horror of illusions. I think that would be a pretty good Halloween episode too. Just saying, maybe, you know, we got plenty of seasons left. Maybe it happens.
We obviously never want anything bad to befall the captain, correct?
No.
But it's like this was, I didn't even want it to end, quite honestly.
No, the
But-
party should have just kept going.
I know, but here we are, day after the amazing Halloween party, and it's time to say goodbye. And the first to leave is the, what is it called?
Oh, are you
Rehabilitated
drinking?
rehabilitated Bobby is heading down the stairs, dishing the tea on his parents, right?
Right.
Just saying that his parents have to get their marriage together. And then maybe he'd see her again or something, Lucy?
I'd like to come visit you, but my parents are trying to get their marriage together, so maybe we should wait.
Bobby.
Bobby! You wanted me to tell the truth.
But all's well with that family.
Correct.
Because they are getting it together. Family's back together, little nuclear family. And then, of course, Alonzo and Ramona make their way off the ship.
Alonzo, it was a marvelous cruise. You were incredible, unbelievable.
Of course. He's amazing.
Well, it's nice to see you two back together again. For a while there, it looked like things weren't working out too well.
Captain, that was just an illusion. A very bad illusion that the world will never see again. Thank you.
Goodbye. Good luck.
Bonsoir.
Mona.
And then Karen,
Yeah.
she gives her scarf to Julie because she doesn't need it anymore.
Thought that was really nice. Mm-hmm. And again, Alonzo's magical and the ship is magical, as we know.
Mm-hmm.
And this woman now has a new lease on life. And it was kind of sweet, though, because it's like Doc and Gopher really didn't care that she had...
They didn't even notice.
No, it was not a thing to them, which is really cool. And again, one of the things that I thought was kind of surprising about the show for being back in that time, that they were kind of forward thinking and were dealing with, you know, all kinds of issues that I think they were on the right side of, you know? And I thought that was really great and really nice.
And she kissed both of them on the lips.
Oh, before we wrap this baby up, there's one other thing from earlier on that I thought was very funny, Michelle.
What was that?
The scene where Gopher is sitting at the table with Karen. And, you know, he's being totally flirty like he would with someone that he likes, not caring at all about this disfigurement of hers. And then he goes to the other table to get a flower, and he's like, my mom's getting married. And then when he turns around, Doc is just sitting at the table. And the way that Doc is just sitting there all happy because he's just completely cock-blocked Gopher.
Once again.
And then it's like she's still freaked out, and she gets up to go sit at the other table, and then another woman shows up, and when she turns around, Gopher and Doc are both sitting at the table, like holding hands with each other. And that scene was hilariously
That was
funny
cute.
to me.
I thought that was funny.
Oh my God, it was so well like choreographed and genuinely really, really humorous.
They were really good together.
Oh, they were fantastic. That's what we said from the very beginning. We thought that all these guys had such a great chemistry, and it did seem like they were really having fun. I hope that was true, because it definitely seems like they understood the gig and really were enjoying themselves. But that scene made me laugh a lot. Like, again, you guys, I love this episode.
Me too. It was a really good one.
Yeah, and we hope you guys did too. And we want to thank Dave Stecco.
Yeah, that was really great.
He's amazing. And I want you guys to go check out his participation in his podcast, the Blurry Photos Podcast. And we just want to say thank you, Dave. And again, thanks you guys for listening. Hope you enjoyed this episode. I don't know what the next one is. Unfortunately, I don't know what we're heading
I
into.
don't either.
But we definitely are like making good on more guests, as we said before. And so prepare yourselves for others as we go along in this season 2. And until then, I am Ishvan.
I am Michelle.
Captain Stubing, please come to the bridge.
And we are
Lovin' the Loveboat. Do you observe?
That's good.
Yeah.
Hi guys, it's me Ishvan, host of Lovin' the Loveboat. And before you go, I wanted to invite you to check out my other show, Ishvan's Imaginary Podcast. Yes, it is a kids and family show, but I think it's a show anyone can enjoy. Here, take a peek.
Dialing now.
Okay, remember, don't get nervous.
Hello, this is Lewis speaking.
Go.
Hello.
Say the rest.
Is your refrigerator running?
Excuse me?
Well, why don't you go catch it?
No, he didn't say it. Oh, you did it wrong. Okay, just go to the next one.
May I speak with John, please?
John, there is no John at this residence.
Then how do you go to the bathroom?
Toby, is this you?
Oh, Alex, hang up the phone. That was awesome.
That was so fun. I feel so alive. Let's do it again.
Colorful characters, award-winning music, and humor and content in a capital G-rated glory that can take on any other podcast out there. So whether it's with your kids, nieces and nephews, grandchildren, or just you and your inner child, Ishvan's Imaginary Podcast is available everywhere podcasts are found to make you all smile and sing along. Check it out today.